We will start this visiting lecture today. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and dear participants, good afternoon to all of you. I'm honored to stand before you today as we gather for this special online event, the Visiting Lecture Series. It is a pleasure to welcome to you this virtual platform where we have the privilege of hosting an esteemed guest lecturer who will share their expertise and insight with us. Before we delve into the exciting presentation, I want to thank everyone who has made this event possible. We certainly thank University of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia for their unwavering support and dedication in arranging this lecture series. We are privileged to have Dr. Mahfuzah binti Muhaidin as a senior lecturer of Institute of Information Technology with us today. Dr. Mahfuzah binti Muhaidin is a renowned expert in their field with a wealth of knowledge and experience that has significantly impacted information technology. We are truly fortunate to have them to join us from University of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, despite the geographical distance that separate us. Thanks to the technology, we can connect and learn from their valuable insight. During the visiting lecture, Dr. Mahfuzah will share their expertise on the topic of concept of technopreneurship and business environment. Their insight promise to enlightening, through provoking, and source of inspiration for all of us. As we embark on this learning journey together, I encourage active and participation for all of you. Feel free to ask questions and engage in discussion through the chat or Q&A features, which will moderate through the lecture. Your participation will enhance the depth of understanding and makes this truly interactive. Let us extend a warm virtual welcome to our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Mahfuzah. We eagerly anticipate your acting lecture. And ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving warm round of virtual applause to welcome Dr. Mahfuzah to the stage. Dr. Mahfuzah, are you ready? Good afternoon, Dr. Mahfuzah.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Sorry. All
That's
right.
okay.
Hi, everyone. Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon or good evening. In Malaysia, currently 3 p.m. And I understand that in Indonesia, currently 2 p.m. So we have different, like, 1 hours, different time. Uh, Before I start my session, I would like to thank Stacken University for this opportunity. Invited UniKL, me as a speaker for this for today's session. Also, before I start, I would like to know background of my participant. Are you from a business faculty, a business school? Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you to the host today, Miss. Your name is Kiran, is it?
Yeah, my name is
All right.
Kinan.
All
It's
right.
nice
Thank
to
you.
meeting you.
All right, thank you. All right, so today, as topic that I choose to brief all of you today is a concept, technopreneurship and business environment. So if you are from background and business background, it's easy for me to explain because in UniKL, MIT, or UniKL Information Technology, the campus or the faculty or the school that I teach is the background IT background, information technology background. So everybody in the campus are compulsory to taking my subject as a minor subject or elective subject. So I have to briefly explain because they are not in business background, they are IT background, but they are compulsory to taking my subject. So my subject technopreneurship is one of compulsory subject to be taken. Uh, so before I start, first of all, I would like to share the screen of my slide for today. All right, can you view my slide here, everyone? Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good, very good. Right, before we start, I would like to explain a little bit about what it does it mean by technopreneur. Most probably, you always know about entrepreneur. So today we want to go further detail to know what is technopreneur. So I would like to brief as well about entrepreneur. So we know that entrepreneur is someone who make a business, who offer a service, offer a product to the market. This entrepreneur is the people who offer a new or existing product or services to the new or existing market, whether it's for profitable, whether the customer have to pay them a money, or non-profitable outcome. For example, the customer in return they give something like not monetary value, is like in kind, like they give a sponsorship for anything and so on. Right, for entrepreneur is individual in organization who have high entrepreneurial characteristic. Generally is individual with entrepreneurial characteristic who practice their ideas on a company's product. So different between entrepreneur and intrapreneur. Intrapreneur is someone who are working in the company, meaning that you are working with some company, with one company, so you are obligated to sell the company's product. So we call them as an intrapreneur. You are obliged by the rules and procedure, SOP. So you have to ask from management for any information, management approval for any delegation of information, for promotion and activity and so on. So they call you as entrepreneur. So what is technopreneur? The topic that we covered today. So technopreneur is entrepreneur who business involve high technology. So meaning that it refers to technology savvy entrepreneurs who adopt cutting edge technology in addition to internet potential in developing, deploying and delivering services and solution that he given rise to a new business models, revenues and economic growth. So but indirectly, if you see from the blue color on the bottom of the slide, technology plus entrepreneurship, that's what I mean by technopreneurship. Meaning that all these technopreneur, they are applying latest technology, they are applying technology in their businesses, because we know that currently we have rapid changes in the technology. So this entrepreneur utilize those technology, internet, to promote and market and do sales for their product or services. So they call as technopreneur. This is a process of merging technology prowess and entrepreneurial talent and skill. So this is the example of technopreneur, our Apple and Microsoft person. So these two type of technology entrepreneurship. Number one is technology developers. So meaning that those who develop a unique technology capable of driving a new business, for example investor. So this example could be your is example of the technology developers. Other than that, for example, uh, you are developer of mobile application. You develop a mobile application for one kind or any type of businesses. So you are technology developers. Number two is technology users. So who is technology users? Those who see a new technology development and understand how can be applied to meet a market need or innovators. So technology users is the users who use what technology developers develop. For example, just now I mentioned about mobile apps. So technology users, you could be a seller, maybe a small business seller. So you apply your business using this mobile application or mobile apps into your business. So, for example, you are selling F&B, food and beverages. So you, instead of you opening a restaurant, a cave or a cafe, you also provided customer can order through mobile apps, mobile application. So you install your businesses into this mobile app, so that there is another alternative for customer to get your product. So in Malaysia, we have Grab, Food Panda. So I believe in Indonesia also you have this kind of food delivery services, which is can also be connected into this mobile application or mobile apps order delivery and so on. Right. So next we go to this is a glance about what we call about technopreneur. So for you to understand what are we talking about technopreneur. So next, I would like to explain about business environment. Right. Any questions so far? You can interrupt me wherever you have any question. Okay. Right. So next we go to the component of business environment. So just now I explained to you what is about concept of technopreneurship. So second subtopic I would like to explain to you the component of business environment. When we talk about business environment, it's not only mean for local product or services, but it mean for international product or services or entrepreneur internationally. Meaning that when we do a business, we have to take consideration into a internationally concept or internationally um, environment, business environment. Right, we go one by one. Okay, in business environment component or component in business environment, we have three category or component, which is number one is macro environment, and number two is in micro environment, and number three is internal environment. Excuse me. Right, we start with number one, macro environment first. Sorry, we start with internal environment first. All right, internal environment or micro environment. Right. This internal environment is the component is structure, organization structure, and resources. So let me explain one by one. Structure in a internal environment meaning that within and in the within organization that you are working with, or even you are the owner or CEO or founder of the firm or the organization, you have to set up your own structure of your firm, meaning the structure is a hierarchical arrangement of the tasks and people which determine the flow within the firm. Meaning that which department who are responsible for this and that, what activity, how the information flows, how the hierarchy of that firm, and where the decision making power rests. Right. So this is the example of two types of organization structure. So number one is a tall structure. Okay, from the picture that you can see here. So this is the example of how we call as a tall structure, meaning that you have a narrow span of and more hierarchical level. For example, each of this level you have manager for each of the row. So each of the organization they have different type of manager for each department. So it's in excuse me. So in such organization, there are usually many manager, and each manager is in charge for only small group of people. So this is what we call as tall structure. So each manager will cover or will take care of a few members of a group, small group of a staff. Right. Number two is a flat structure. For flat structure is organization structure which most middle management function are eliminated, meaning that they only have one top management or top manager, so the others are their personnel or their staff. So this one we call as a flat structure. Compared to the tall structure, they have many manager, but flat structure they only allow senior management to have greater exposure. So one top management or one manager to cover the others staff. Right. Next we go to organizational culture.
Excuse me, Miss Dr.
Yeah,
Fatmauza.
yeah.
Is the slide being updated?
Yeah, we are changing to the next slide actually. You are
No,
currently you the same slide?
just see about the definition. I think,
Still on the same slide. Okay, let me
yeah,
check. Let me check it out. Maybe I share a new one. Okay. Can you see it now?
yeah, I can see now.
All right. Thank you for letting me. Okay. All
You're
right. So
welcome.
currently we are at slide number 7. Okay. So let me just take a glance. So just now I mentioned to you about component in business environment. Excuse me. All right. So this is the component of business environment that I mentioned just now. So this is the diagram of the business environment. We will cover macro environment, micro environment, and internal environment. So currently we are talking about internal environment. So internal
Excuse me.
environment, yeah.
The slide is never changed.
I see
Actually,
what happened. But you can see the slide, right?
I can see the slide, but
But it's not
the slide
moving.
is the component of business environment. Is that right? Or
Yeah,
you go to the
yes,
next
yes.
slide?
But I already moved to the next slide, internet environment. Are you see the same slide with me?
No,
No. I'm changing to the next slide. Do you see it?
no.
No. Okay. Mm, I try to reshare again.
Um,
Can you see?
yeah, I can see. Can you move it?
Okay, I
Can
try
you?
to slide. Can you see?
Um,
I change the
no,
slide. No, still no.
no, still no. You can send me
Okay.
or send our operator
Okay.
to share
When can who
this presentation.
can I share to you? Anyone? Email or what?
You can share on the room chat and
The
then
room
I will share
chat.
it for you.
Okay, all right. Let me
All right.
check.
Thank you.
Like, Right. You get it?
Um, yeah, I get it. Wait,
All right. Okay.
please a second.
All right.
Let let our operator to share the screen for you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Can
I
you
don't know
close
what
your
happened.
screen?
All right. I
It's
close my
okay.
screen.
All right.
Okay.
Which page that you
7, please.
7?
Uh-huh.
7 is this
Wait.
our next to the
Yes, this is the correct one.
this is
But yeah, but can you move to the page 5 first because just now you cannot view the diagram.
this
No, no, earlier, page 5.
keba
Boleh. Is page number 5. Sorry, yeah. Number 4. Sorry, number 4. Sorry. Yes, yes. This is the one.
all
Okay.
right.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so basically, this is the diagram that I showed just now about the component of business environment that we wanted to share with you. So there is a three segment that I wanted to share with you. Number one is a macro environment in a blue color. In the middle of the diagram, that gray color is a micro environment. Actually, it's a micro environment, and the gray and blue color internal environment is just now that I explained to you about structure, the hierarchy structure, tall and flat structure. Okay, move to the next slide, please. Right, this is I already mentioned just now. Next slide. So currently we are covering about internal environment structure. Next slide. Okay, so this is just now that I mentioned to you about tall structure and flat structure. So tall structure, as I mentioned, that there is organization. It's actually depend on firm and organization. So in business environment or an organization or firm, it depends on what kind of structure that the organization would like to implement. This tall structure and flat structure is have differentiation. For example, for tall structure, you have a different manager for each department. So you will have many manager with a small group of staff. Okay, different with the flat structure. Flat structure only allow one senior management to be the leader of the firm, and the others would be their staff. Right, next slide, please. Right, next slide. Okay, yes, this is the slide. Right, so next we go to organization culture. So organization culture meaning that from hold on, All right, from organization structure, meaning that in certain organization or in all organization or firm, you have different type, different culture of staff, different style, different behavior, different attitude of your staff or your clique or your peer. So organization culture meaning that certain organization or in organization you have to understand different staff or different members in the organization have different culture. For example, their ceremonial, their ritual, their myth, their rites, their saga, their legend, their story, their symbol, their languages, their metaphor, their values, their belief, their heroes and heroine. Meaning that, for example, I take one example from all of this culture. All of this culture, meaning that, for example, in Malaysia we have many culture. For example, we have Malay, we have Indian, we have Chinese, we have also Sabahan and Sarawakian people who have different cultures. So each of these staff have and different culture have different races. So example, just now I mentioned Malaysia, we have Malaysian, Malay, Indian and Chinese. So different races have different kind of languages, different kind of languages, ritual, belief. They are also different, have different ritual, symbol, belief. So each of the bosses ataupun you are a leader, you have to understand different culture in an organization or your member. Right, next slide, please. Right, so this is resources. So I think you understand already resources. So resources is quite what we call a standardized in everywhere. So resources in organization component of the business environment resources, you have to you know that resources consist of raw materials and also capital resources ataupun in Malay we call as a modal. Capital resources also called as a machine. In an organization you have a machine. Raw material is something that raw that you can convert to the final product. Next slide, please. Right. So next we go to micro environment. So in micro environment, we have customers, competitors, suppliers, financial institution, government agencies, and non-government organization or NGO. Next slide, please. Next slide. Right. So the first component is customer. So we know that in business, of course, we have customer because customers is the person who are buy our product. Customer are the people and or who acquire goods or services from the organization. So obviously, the customer have different tastes and they can change their punya style and change their punya taste differently. So customer would be satisfied, would be dissatisfied with our product or services. So customer is one of our sources of information because they will give it back to us. Right, next slide. Right, next is a competitor. So competitor is also one of in a business environment. We also have to understand and know who is our competitor, especially in the same industry that provide the same goods and services, and also the providing the set of customer, the same set of customer to us. For example, that just now I said about we open a cafe, we open a restaurant. So we know that if people next door, your competitor open the same cafe or restaurant, they sell similar food and beverages. So we are consider them as our competitor, which is they are selling food and beverages or the same industry in the same industry or type of businesses. So sometimes they think that competitors is our rival, but not as all competitors is our rival. Sometimes competitors we can consider them as our source of information, which is we can also do a research about this competitor, what we can make them as an example, why how we can be a partner with them instead of just assuming them as a rival. We can also negotiating with them. How can we together? We how can we collaborate together? How can we be a business partner together? Okay, so this is a competitor. So even the competitor, we said that competitor compete with each other for market share. But as I said, there is a positive and negative thing about competitors. They could be our partners and also a good example to us. At the same time, also they are our rivals or competitors in the same industry. So we have to ensure that we can sustain in industry by providing new product innovation, do more marketing promotion so that we can expand our market, we can gain more profits and revenue other than competitors. All right, next slide, please. Right. Next is a supplier. So suppliers is the person who supply the raw material, could be a machine, anything supply the equipment, the component part, the raw material, even the capital market for the firms that you need sources of supply. Right. So powerful supply can raise their prices, therefore reduce profitability level in buying industry, meaning that this supplier the price could be higher or lesser. Actually we depends on our supplier. So normally we said that this supplier can play with the prices. We have to find our good supplier who can negotiate, who give the good prices so that they can be our fixed supplier, which is they can we have to build up a good relationship with supplier which can supply the resources at a good price. Right, next slide, please. All right. Next is the government agency. Right. Not only for Malaysian, also Indonesian and other country, we have our own government who will support we as our entrepreneur. We as an entrepreneur. So government agency provide infrastructure, advisory services, training and financial support to existing and future technopreneurs. So for example, in Malaysia, we have Ministry of International Trade and Industry, or in short form we call MITI. So MITI is a government agency that has given a mandate and responsible to plan, to legislate and implement international trade and industrial policy that will ensure Malaysian has rapid development toward achieving national economic policy and vision since 2020. So each of the government for each country, they have their agency who will assist this entrepreneur, for example, giving by training, fund, advisory services, and also infrastructure. So lucky us to have this government who can support our businesses. All right, next slide. Next slide. All right. Next is NGO. So NGO is a non-government organization, meaning that this NGO could be a customer consumer societies, meaning that among the customer they have their own society. They have political organization, religious groups, business society, environmental groups, and others among interest group that can influence businesses. So this group play their respective roles in business through campaigns against product and services and by disseminating information regarding certain product which can further influence consumer and pressure the government into taking action on certain issue. So indirectly, these NGO people is the among the customer or consumer who have their own society. Meaning, this kind of NGO people, they will fight for our people, for consumer who have any issues regarding, for example, um, we have low stock in a rice, in any food supply. So this society, NGO society, will play a role to push the government to taking action on certain issue. For example, there is low stock in certain food supply, for example. So This is a good person who we call as a NGO person. Right, next slide. Right, next is in micro environment is institution. Financial institution is a bank, right? Financial institution is institution that provide you financial services for its clients or member. For example, that if you are opening a business, you are as an entrepreneur, so you have to approach this financial institution. What kind of funds that I can apply to be one of your entrepreneur, meaning that this financial institution or a bank will provide a funds. uh, for example, you are a startup company, you just want to start a business, you don't have any financial or monetary capital, so you ask fund from this financial institution to provide a fund. Sometimes they will request you to provide them a company profile. You have to give them a pitching pitching about your business, then they provide a fund for you. Among these organizations are the banks, credit card companies, insurance companies, consumer finance company, stock brokerage, and investment funds. Right. So next slide. Here is heavy rain. If you can hear the storm, I hope my internet is okay until the end of the session. All right. So next, okay, done internal environment and micro environment. I have explained to you about micro environment, about internal environment. The last part that I want to mention to you is a macro environment. So macro environment is there's also a part of business component, business environment that you have to take into consideration, especially if you wanted to do a business not locally, but also your plan to export or do import or export internationally of your goods or services. Right, we go one by one. So if you can see from the component of macro environment, number one, we have political, economic, sociocultural, technology, environment, and also legal. Right, we go one by one to understand what about macro environment and how this macro environment play a role in our business environment. All right, next slide. Right. So number one, we go with the political environment. So if you want to do a business, for example, in one country or even locally in your own country, you have to understand how the political environment, how was the political situation, because this political environment can impact your business organization in many ways. Right. The government policy especially. So you have to understand what are the political factor that have a significant impact on business. Number one is the government policy. Number two is the tax laws and tariff. Number three of stability of the government. Number four is entry mode regulation. Entry mode regulation, for example, that you want to bring in a labor from outside of the of outside from your country, so you have to understand how what is the procedure to bring in labor to come to your organization, to work with your organization. So we call as entry mode regulation. So you have to understand in certain country they have their own government policy, so you have to know. So for example, tax also, each of the country they have their own tax, they have their own act, akta ataupun act, tax law. So you have to know all of these things before you decided to do business locally or internationally. So you have to do some research about political situation, the stability of the government, what is the government policy, what is the tax that will charge to you, how you want to bring in you punya staff to the organization, and so on. So this one is under political. Right, next slide. Right. Next is economy. So for economy, they are categorized under uh, three different categories. Number one is the current condition. Number two is economic cycle. Number three is the structural changes, meaning that if you wanted to do a business in certain country or even locally, you have to know what are their economic condition. For example, you want to know what is the currency exchange, how was the currency punya value, so that you know what is the interest rate. If you wanted to do fund with the bank, how was the economic condition? Are you able to, if you do a fund with the bank, are you able to pay back the interest? For example, what the economic cycle, are they in the good condition of the, are they in the good economic situation? What are the structural changes that you have to understand? Basically, you have to do more research about what are the economic situation in the certain country, or locally on your own company or own country. Right, next slide. Okay. All right, next we go to social cultural. So social cultural, as I mentioned just now, about belief, attitude, norm, lifestyle. So if you wanted to do business in your own country, or even you want to do business in different country, you have to know what are their social culture. You have to understand what is their lifestyle, what are their sensitivity, what are their belief, norm, religious, what are their sensitivity is very important for business person to understand. For example, if you want to produce a product, you have to understand what are the customer lifestyle on that country, what their sensitivity, what are their concern, what are their belief, right? Number two is demography. So demographic meaning that you have to do some research about the country or your own country. What are the, for example, you want to produce one product, what is your demographic target? For example, demographic talking about the age, about the population, for about the income, about the gender. So if you think to create one, you want to innovate, or maybe you want to produce one new product to the market, think who is your demographic customer market. For example, you target for student, for teenagers, so you have to go in depth doing a research about what are the teenagers lifestyle, what are the teenagers trend, what are the teenagers social norms, so that what is the favorite color, what are their trends ataupun viral trends, so that where we understand our target demographic person, so that easy for us to create our own product. Right, so demographic also play an important role in organization approach to do marketing and advertising. All right, so when you understand, when you know who is your target market, so easy for you to do marketing and advertising. You have to do, if, for example, as I mentioned, for example, you punya your own target market is the teenagers, so your marketing and advertising must be catchy lah, of course, because you want to attract this youngest generation. So some of the demographic issues, the population size distribution, age distribution, education level, and income level. So this is also part of demographic. As I mentioned, if you say about demographic, you have to understand demographic consists of age, education, income level, gender, and so on. So this is about demographic. Right, next slide. Right. So next we go to the technology. So we know that every day we have received, every day we have new technologies changes. For example, we just Apple 15 just just launch. So we know that many improvement that Apple do. So same goes to the technology that must be applied by this people of entrepreneur. So you have to, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to apply this technology changes into our business. We don't want to be outdated. For example, just now I mentioned about mobile apps, food delivery services. You have to adapt with these technology changes to comply with your business so that we are not outdated. We can sustain in the market, compete with the competitor. Right. For example, technology and increasingly important environment influence and in prompting management to reconsider the way they fundamental operate. So basically, advance in information technology in particular can affect all aspect of business from its overall strategic position, how it manage marketing, design, production, and distribution. Right. That's about technology. Can we move to next slide? Right. Technological change. All right. So technological change takes two form. Number one is a breakthrough. Right. If you heard before, breakthrough. What is breakthrough? Breakthrough invention meaning that you have pure invention. Invention meaning that you invent something that never exists. Something refers to the creation that something new, different from existing technology. Meaning that you said that I want to do this business with the breakthrough invention. So what is breakthrough invention? You do something pure invention that no one have done it before. So you of course a breakthrough invention entrepreneur, meaning that you create a new platform for future research and process innovation. For example, you create a mobile apps. You are developer of mobile apps, mobile application for this kind of simplify this kind of business. So you can be categorized under breakthrough invention. Right. Next slide. Right. Next we go to environment. All right. Environment meaning that hello.
Hello? Yeah,
Okay.
you
Right.
can continue, Miss.
Okay. All right. So environment. So environment meaning that when we want to do business as an entrepreneur, we have also to understand what are the community concern about environmental. All right. Key environmental issue affecting business include industrial waste, sustainable development of raw material, water and air emission. So meaning that when you do a business, you have to take consideration about concern from the community. How you want to do disposal of waste. You do production, so how you have to find what are the solution ataupun you have to find the alternative way to dispose you punya wasted from you punya apa ni production, for example. So you have to know and do a research about that. This issue affect business because laws require business to change equipment and procedure to impose by standard which cost businesses money. Okay, meaning that you have to know what is the law, what is the rules and regulation for a certain country, what are their standard SOP, standard operation procedure for disposal of waste. Other than that, normally the environmental, if you see some of the product, they put logo like recycle environment for certain cans drink, for example, they put like recycle, meaning that they are concerned about environmental. So they put that one is as a logo, one of the logo. Right. So many businesses to have to understand, have to know to preserve the environment and do what's right. Right. Next slide. Right. So this is example ataupun this is the factors of environmental, geographical location, the climate, weather, waste disposable law. Just now, I mentioned the energy consumption regulation, people's attitude toward the environment. So you have to understand these factors before you proceed to do a business, especially when do you do a kind of production. You have to know also the climate, the weather of the certain country or your own local country. Right, last slide. I think it could be last slide, number 28. Right. So this is the last part that I will cover. So it's about legal. So in business environment, macro environmental legal. So you have to know, excuse me, right, so in legal you have to know in your country or in the other country what are the federal state and local government can influence what organization can and cannot do, because these government federal legislation are known to give significant impact, meaning that every government, every country, they have their own legal, they have their own rules and regulation, they have their own law that you have to follow. So you have to do a research about certain country, what are their laws. For example, an example of such legislation include green technology legislation, occupational safety and health, OSHA, intellectual property, and so on. All of these act, you have to understand what are the law, right? Page 28. Page 28. Yes, okay. Right. So organizations spend a great deal of time and money to meet government regulation, but the effect of this regulation can extend beyond time and money. They also reduce managerial discretion by limiting the choices available to managers. Right. So it's important for you to understand about all these macro environmental, political, we have covered political, legal, environmental, technology, culture. So we have to understand before we plan to do a business, or even you already done a business, you have to always do a research to improve your business, to sustain your business, so that you can understand. Maybe for example you wanted to explore, instead of you sell it locally, you want to explore for export and import internationally. Right, I think this is all about my presentation. This is the last slide, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's lots like.
Yeah, all right, so I
All
think that's
right.
all from my sharing about the topic of concept of entrepreneurship and business environment. So I hope that what I shared to you have gained some knowledge for you to understand in depth about component of business environment, especially the macro, micro, and internal business environment, and the definition of technopreneurship. Right,
All
maybe that's
right.
all for me. Any question?
Yeah, it's time for the Q&A session.
Right.
First of all, thank you for Dr. Mafuza for that enlightening and engaging presentation. We are
All
now the
right.
transition of the Q&A answer and session we have where we can further explore our distinct guest speakers, insight and knowledge. So first of all, this is um there has a question from Fauris Arafik.
Okay.
In the content of rapidly and evolving technological landscape and dynamic global business environment, how can a technopreneur effectively balance the pursuit of innovation and disruptive technologies with the need of stability, sustainability, and corporate responsibility, while also considering the potential technical dilemmas
Uh,
associated with
mhm.
their innovation?
All right. So long question. All right. Let me understand back. In the context of rapid involvement, how can technopreneur effectively balance the innovation? How you can balance with with the disruptive technology with the need of stability? Right. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, thanks for the question, Faris Arafi. Right. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, we have to always be a creative innovator. We have to always do and adapt with the new technology, number one. Number two, we have to see and observe what is the trend, current trend. because as you said, there is a disruptive technology. Disruptive technology meaning that, because I'm also teaching innovation other than entrepreneurship, I'm also teaching innovation. So disruptive innovation meaning that, for certain innovation, previously we used this innovation, but with the rapid technology we are no longer using that information. That's mean by disruptive technology. For example, previously you have a tape recorder, but currently we don't use anymore the tape recorder. How was in Indonesia? Are you still using the tape recorder for movie or anything? That you still use the tape recorder?
Yeah,
Yeah, you still
usually
use
that.
it. Oh, okay. Do you still use it, right? For example, previously we are watching movie, we are using by tape recorder, by the cassette. We are listening music by cassette. In the car, we have to put the cassette. So currently, with the rapid technology, we have MP3 player. We even have cinema. We even have Netflix. So this is the example of disruptive technology, meaning that when these rapid changes in the technology, indirectly demolish the previous usage or previous what we call normalization. For example, using by cassette, by recorder tape and everything, even using camera with the film. So with the latest technology, we as an entrepreneur, we have to adapt with the changes. So we have to parallel with the new technology. We want to sustain in the industry. We want to be good and successful entrepreneur. So we have to adapt. If let's say there is a new changes, so we have to follow. For example, no more people, you observe that no more people are using this kind of cassette, this kind of film, a camera with the film. So you have to think, if you want to be a breakthrough innovator, you have to think what I can invent to sell to the customer that no one has done it before. You want to be excuse me, because I'm not feeling well actually today. All right, okay, so this is how you balance. This is how you can as Faris mentioned, that we how you want to be stability sustain, right? So you corporate responsibility, CSR also, you have to concern about environmental, you have to concern about your community, do some CSR activity. If you are a big organization, do some CSR activity, corporate responsible activity, for example, to like help people, poor people, for example. So this is the context of how to be a technopreneur in also innovator. Right, I hope I answer you, Mr. Faris. Any other question?
Yes, there has an equation
Mm-hmm.
from Ishana Shahida.
All right.
Actually, she want to ask directly, but the device it's
Okay.
not adequate. So
All
yeah,
right.
maybe another time. So the
Okay.
question is, how can technopreneur navigate the intricate web of legal, technical, and cultural complexities when their
Mm-hmm.
disruptive innovation
Uh-huh.
transcend in international border, and
Uh-huh.
how do they effectively strategize for success in a world where both global cooperation and geopolitical tension are on the rise, all while maintaining a sustainable and social responsible business model.
Quite. Let me read through again. How can entrepreneur navigate with the intricate legal, ethical, cultural when the disruptive innovation transcend? Okay, same question about disruptive innovation. So, how you want to navigate the web? Are you meaning by the hackers or what? Intricate web of legal, ethical, and cultural complexity. Ishana. Are you talking about intricate web? Are you talking about the hackers or what? Okay, if from what I understand, okay, I hope I answer you. All right, Shana. All right, so if we are talking about, you know that when we have a disruptive innovation, same like previous question. Okay, I hope I can answer your question. This disruptive innovation, because when with the rapid changes, this is also, if I'm not mistaken, like I think you relate with the hackers. For example, we want to invent something, we want to implement this technology. However, there is a people However, there is the people we call as an hackers, or maybe the people who want to interrupt our business. We want to the people who want to interrupt the customer by buying our product. So how we want to, we I think you have to deal with the security system back, because normally when we are using a web, we have to do a security on our web to make sure that our security is good enough to disrupt this kind of hackers to demolish our website, if I'm not mistaken, your question. And how do they effectively strategize for success in world where both global cooperation and geopolitical tension are on the rise, all while maintaining a sustainable and social responsible business model. All right. Really, really good question, but I think oh banyak, yeah, you are also right. Okay, so I think for Ishana's question, so if you want to be a success in a world, so you have to understand all the micro environment that I mentioned just now. Also the political, legal, environmental, technology, all of these factors you have to adapt, you have to understand, you have to do some observation, you have to do some research, so that you can understand and you can do business internationally as worldwide, not only locally. Right? Do I answer your question, Ishana? Any other question?
I think that's can answer the Miss Isyana question. So
Right.
let's move our I think last question from Danny. Wow,
Okay.
it's long question. uh Excuse me, I'm Dani from TKV University Stecom. I want to ask, how can technopreneur leverage emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, and computing to not only disrupt traditional business models, but also proactively address and mitigate the unintended consequences and ethical dilemmas their technologies might pose in a ever-changing business landscape, all while adapting to the accelerating pace of
Mhm.
technological evolution and maintaining of competitive edge.
All right. Okay, I think I understand the question. So basically, you asking about AI. Am I right? Okay. So we know that artificial intelligence AI. Okay. I think Dani question is more on the how we want to adapt with this AI intelligent, with the blockchain, not only disrupt traditional business but also proactively address unintended consequence. All right, if you are talking about AI, blockchain, we know that these rapid changes in technology, blockchain, you can apply in accountancy, and also AI. You know that even ChatGPT can assist you to do like research, can answer any question and everything. But traditional way of business we have also to maintain, because we have to understand that, for example, you as a youngster, you are born in a technological evolution. However, you have to take into consideration there is eldest people, there is eldest people who are also new to this technology. So that's why when you ask me, my perspective is, my perspective is, I still I still wanted we to maintain this traditional business. What is traditional business? Number one is, for example, that I mentioned just now, you opening a cafe, you opening a restaurant, you even selling a newspaper in the stall, in the shop, which is our youngsters maybe not reading newspaper anymore. We are just scrolling the internet through the phone, through the web. However, this elder generation, they are still what we call, they are still adapt with the this traditional way of life. They are still reading newspaper, they are still watching news from television. Even we as a we even you as a young generation, we sometimes even we can order to food delivery, but sometimes we still need to go to the cafe, have some chit chat with a friend. We cannot over dependence on these rapid technological changes. We have also to consider our what we call natural lifestyle. We still have to go out to get some fresh air. So to answer you, how we can leverage by imaging, we can also as a you if you are talking about entrepreneur, you want to leverage your business in AI, please do so. You are encouraged to apply your business using this latest technology. However, please also maintain the traditional way of business. Inshallah, I think your business will be good because customer have a choice. You customer can buy your product traditional in traditional way or from the technological. For example, you offer instead of opening a cafe, customer also can order it through online or mobile apps. Right. So I hope I answer your question, Danny. Any more question?
I think that's the last question that we have.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
that's all.
In which semester are you in currently for all this Stecom University? What semester are you currently? All of the participants?
I'm the third semester.
Oh, third semester. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All of the accountancy. All right. Accountancy,
Mm,
or what is your faculty?
it's the faculty.
Faculty. Or your
Yeah.
school? Is a campus? Business campus or what?
It is. I think yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any other question?
Did you guys have another question for Dr. Mahfuza? You can type it on the our room chat.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we will end our Q&A session.
All right.
So as we conclude this enlightening visiting lecture online, I want to thank all of you for your active participation, engagement, and enthusiasm through this event. It has been a truly attracting experience. First and foremost, I extend my most profound appreciation for our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Mahfuza.
Yeah, you're
Your
welcome.
expertise, insight, and wildness to share your knowledge with us have been invaluable. We are truly honored to have you as our speakers today.
All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity as well.
Yeah, I will also like to thank to our all participants for their truthful question and contribution during the question and answer session. Your active involvement has made this event our success. Uh, as we conclude today's visiting lecture online, I encourage your continuous to discuss and networking beyond this virtual platform. The knowledge and insight gained here can serve as a foundation for the future exploration and collaboration. Please stay connection with us for the future event and opportunities. We value your presence and look forward to having you join us again. Once again, thank you for our participation in this enriching experience. Wishing you all a wandering You have a wonderful day ahead and please take care. Uh, before we stop our visiting lecture series, we have to. This is time for the documentation. As I will invite the photo capture on the count of 1 to 3. Can you guys open your camera first and make pose so nicely? I will I will count 1, 2, 3. Smile, and then again 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you everyone for your active participation. So yeah, goodbye and see you to our inventors. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Miss.
everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Mahfuza. It's nice to meeting you.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you, Dr.
too. Okay.
Mahfuza.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor. Okay, everyone boleh out now because oh iya aku belum akhiri. Enggak, sorry. Akhiri
Mm,
sekarang. Oh iya, teman-teman semuanya jangan lupa absen ya. Terima kasih link absen sudah saya kirim di live chat and live chat. Makasih. Oke. Eh, ini belum tak akhiri loh.